Your next act has a TED Talk that has over 1 million views. Give a lot of love to TerriTrespicio. Come on, TerriTrespicio!
Hey, Delaware, how you doing? Where's the traditionally handsome guy? Which one was he? Oh, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, totally. My name is TerriTrespicio. It sounds Italian, but it's not. It is Filipino. And I was on a first date recently, and the guy said, "Really? When we first spoke on the phone, you didn't sound Asian." I said, "And you didn't sound short." Now, I do a lot of online dating, but I went to an actual singles event. Remember those? Look, there's nothing wrong with being on the market, but this was not Whole Foods Market with a lot of fresh, juicy stuff everywhere. No, it was more like Acme, right before a major snowstorm. All the good stuff is gone, and what's left is suspect. Certainly not something you want to put in your mouth. Now, honestly, there is a real reason to love online dating, and I'll tell you what it is. It's the sense of abundance. There's so many people, there's always another guy, until there isn't. And I found this out recently when I swiped through so many profiles, I ran out of people. I didn't even know this was possible. But a little note came up on the app and it said, "Looks like you're out of options. Now go back and lower your standards." Again. Oh my God. Meanwhile, men are raising their standards. I saw a gentleman on there. He was not traditionally handsome. He was, I'm gonna put him in the neighborhood of 350, 375. His name was Eric 47. And yeah, he was wearing a shirt that said, "I hate cats." And he looked for all the world like he had just been woken up by a fire alarm at 3 in the morning. And you know what Eric 47 has on his profile? Seeking sugar mama, oral sex, no strings, smiley face. That's right. If you want a shot with Eric, you're going to have to pay for his dinner and then blow him. Seems fair. Now, I've actually been wearing glasses my whole life. They are the thing I get the most compliments on, by far, more than anything. And I like how gentlemen look in glasses, sir. I think you look very nice in glasses. I was way into this guy who was wearing the black hipster frame glasses. He looks like, you look like you own an ad agency. And I was way into it. Come to find out, they're not real glasses. They're just clear plastic. I felt like I had been lied to and mocked. It was like we'd spent the whole evening in wheelchairs, and at the end, he just got up and walked away. But I'll tell you the real problem I have with dating, okay? In this age, this modern age, is that men take no initiative. You know why? They don't have to. The world is crawling with single women. You could go out in the street right now, throw a rock, and hit a single woman. I know this because I do it from time to time just to keep the numbers down. I mean, look, there's a reason 50 Shades of Grey is still so popular. It's not because we want to be tied up and beaten, but it's like the guy knew what he wanted and he went for it. Which is more than I can say for most of the guys that I date. It's true. I would submit to being blindfolded and spanked on occasion if it meant he would pick a fucking restaurant. But I know what my real problem is, and I'll tell you right now, it's a habit I'm breaking. It's that I've tended to date too young for me. Dating a young guy is like adopting a puppy. Of course they're adorable, but there's so much more work than you realize. All of the begging and the whining, and they want to go out every other minute, and they're lifting their legs and humping you, and it's messy. Whereas, dating a divorced guy is like adopting a rescue. Sure, they're a little banged up, but they're so grateful to be given a second chance. Now, I was raised Catholic. I don't practice now. It's like I have a lifetime membership, I just don't work out there anymore. But I blame the church for the high expectations we have of men, and I mean that. I mean, when I was a little schoolgirl, like, they really sold Jesus hard to us. I mean, what was not to love? You know, the blue eyes, the man bun. I mean, fine, we don't know if he really looked like that, and it wouldn't be the first time I was fooled by a profile pic. But it's like the things they said about him, you know, like, he loves you, he forgives you for everything, his love can heal you, he would die for you. In fact, he did it once, and he would do it again. Now, go find yourself a nice boyfriend like that. Now, of course, I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to fall in love at some point. I mean, who doesn't, right? But it occurs to me there's really only one condition for a truly successful relationship, and that is that you die while you're still in it. That is it. You could be married for 20 years, get divorced, and you failed at marriage by society's standards. Whereas you could be married for 20 years, dream of getting a divorce, go to sleep, never wake up, and you died happily married. That's just how it works. Look, I don't make the rules. Don't, like, be all down about it. Like, I didn't make the rules. But we do sabotage things early on, too, in ways that we don't have to. You know what I'm talking about. When it's really exciting and sexy in the beginning, it's all like moonlight and roses, and you're like, this is so hot. I think I'm gonna stop and we should talk about it. No, you shouldn't. And ladies, you in particular are guilty of this. Do not initiate the relationship talk. It has all the romance and charm of walking into your own slamming party, turning on all the lights and turning off all the music and saying, I just want to check in. Is everyone having a good time? Do you like my party? Do you like it better than other people's parties? How long are you staying at my party? Not that long, as it turns out. I gave myself a real fright the other day. I live in Manhattan, and I was walking around, and I stopped to check out an outfit. And I was like, oh, that's nice. And I looked up and realized I was standing in front of an Eileen Fisher. I mean, for those of you who don't know, Eileen Fisher is what your clothes would look like if they went through menopause. When you shop at Eileen Fisher, you're essentially saying, I'm this close to giving up, or I'm this close to earning my master's degree in social work. She knows. She's guilty of it. Check the label, check the label. I mean, when you're in your 20s and 30s, your lady parts are as snappy and snug as a pair of Lululemon yoga pants. In your 40s, a blouse is appropriate. After that, you drape. Which is fitting, because if you shop at Eileen Fisher, you could probably wear your labia as a shawl. I have a good friend who invited me to take a pole dancing class with her. This is still a thing. It is still a thing. And I was like, why do I have to do this? And she said, oh, you're gonna feel so liberated and so free. I said, we have to pretend to be strippers for that? I mean, that's not sexy, that's depraved. So I signed up for a 6-week course with an elective in chair dancing. And I learned all the cool moves, you know? Like the firefly and the climb, and my favorite, the downward spiral, where you slowly descend into a pit of self-loathing and disgust. I mean, look, by the way, pole dancing class is not cheap. You have to be a stripper to pay for it. The last time I'd pay that much for classes, I was in my 20s, and it was for self-defense. And then it was all, don't let them fuck you, don't let them fuck you, don't let them fuck you. And now it was all, make them wanna fuck you, make them wanna fuck you, make them wanna fuck you. But I had to stop. I had to stop after a while because the whole thing made me ill. It made me ill. Like, I get very motion sick, and I would have to take a Dramamine before every class, and then I just wanted to take a nap, so I was done with that. Now, I do not have children. This is a choice I made as an adult. This is the plan. I'm fine with it. But a lot of people think I'm making a mistake. And they say, oh, but Terry, you'd make such a great mom. And I say, Maybe. And maybe you'd make a great correctional officer or rodeo clown. But we'll never know. And they say, oh, is it because you don't like kids? Do you hate children? No, I don't hate children. I don't have a kid for the same reason most New Yorkers don't have cars. They're extremely expensive and there's nowhere to put one. And they say, well, why don't you just have one? Like they're handing around a plate of like brownies. Just have one. One's not gonna kill you. Okay, so let's walk through this again, okay? Do I want to grow a human in my body for the better part of a year, squeeze it out in front of a room full of people, hand my life over to its care and feeding to the expense of all else when my body collapses on itself, spend the next 18 years raising this child to function in society to the tune of about $250,000, for which I'll receive very little but grief and the occasional bouquet of flowers. And if I do it right, he will definitely leave me for another woman. No, I'm not sold on that idea. I'm not sold on it. In fact, I find it shocking that my friends who are married take this decision so lightly. You know, they're like, I'll be like, are you gonna have kids? And they're like, maybe. Yeah. Like, what do you mean maybe? They're like, well, if it happens, it happens. Really? Because that's what I say to myself when I leave my house without an umbrella on a day when there's a 40% chance of precipitation. And even then, I'm gonna go back for it. So when people tell me, you know, Terry, at some point you really should settle down and have a kid, I go, and you know, you really should at some point get your PhD in applied physics. And they say, why would I do that? That's a lot of time and effort for something I never really wanted. Exactly. Thank you guys, have a great night.
Yo, TerriTrespicio! Give up for TerriTrespicio!